Welcome to another episode of Deleted Scenes, where I share some interesting information related to the message that just didn't make its way into the message. And so this one looks at the cracks in David. And so what we have always been talking about is that David is seen at the beginning as the role model king, the king you should look up to, the king who you should be like. He is the role model. But there is a little bit of foreshadowing that shows us that David is not perfect, that proves to us that David is not perfect, and actually should have prepared us a little bit for the fact that David was going to make a mistake. And so the first crack we actually looked at several weeks ago is that when David is running from Saul one of the times, he is fleeing from his and his wife Michal's house, and he comes down a window and she places their household idol in the bed in order to fake out the security. And so it should have been a little bit of a red flag to us that David had a household idol in his house, that it was just something that he had, and it didn't seem to be a big deal, and it was of a humanoid shape that could have faked him being in the bed. So that was the first thing. The second thing is a story with David and Abigail and Nabal that comes in 1 Samuel chapter 25. This story is actually sandwiched right in between the two episodes where David has a chance to kill Saul, but he doesn't do it. He says, I am not going to take revenge for myself. I'm going to let the Lord fight for me. But sandwiched in between those two episodes is David wanting to take revenge for himself against Nabal. And so in this episode, David is disrespected by Nabal. He's asked for help, he asks for food. Nabal says no, and basically says you and your men are probably just a bunch of runaway slaves. And David becomes very angry, and David decides in his heart and basically sets his mind that he is going to go kill Nabal and every single man that works for Nabal. Now, luckily, Nabal's wife, Abigail, meets him on the road. Abigail gives David what he had been originally asking for, and she says to him, don't let this blood be on your hands when you are the future king. But we see a little bit that David has a little bit of a temper, and a little bit of where there are times when David wants to and tries to take things into his own hands. And then the third thing is, as David's power grows, and after times where he has had lots of military success, the Bible gives what is called a harem report, which is basically David has accumulated these wives and he has these children by these wives. And if we look back in Deuteronomy chapter 17, the Bible specifically told the kings to not accumulate wives like the rest of the kings in the surrounding nations did. But yet, as David's power grows, his collection, I guess you would say, of wives also grows, which foreshadows that David is not completely following after God. Now, just because David messed up, just because David sinned, God still used David greatly, and there are still lots of attributes of David that we should copy. But this shows us that as perfect as David was, as close to being perfect as David was, he wasn't the savior that people needed. David couldn't do it, but someone from his family, Jesus, would. So David's imperfections point us towards looking towards Jesus, who is the perfecter and author of our faith. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy being a part of the Quarantine Youth Group, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our videos. Follow us on Instagram. Be sure that you join the discussion in the comments, and if you've got any ideas or any questions of future videos that we could do, leave those in the comments. Let me know. We are here because we want to serve you during this time where we can't be together. So stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you soon.